Tracking strong storms across southern Utah, leading to areas of flash flooding. What you can expect for the rest of tonight and your forecast for tomorrow, where we'll see those storms coming up.
The whole trailer is just not, we can't even stay there, can't even live there right now.
A family trying to figure out what's next after a firework ignited their mobile home this weekend.
I had COVID, I got better, but there's just things we don't know.
Utah hit over 1 million COVID-19 cases last weekend. Now the family of a former captain here at the Kaysville Fire Department is asking you to take this virus seriously.
We feel very robbed.
Gas prices continue to fall around the country, but are Utah drivers still paying more?
A unique holiday for a unique state. As Utah wraps up a long Pioneer Day weekend, we found out how other states celebrate.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. Our top story tonight is the weather. Flash flooding concerns continue to linger in southern Utah this evening. This as we continue to feel temperatures near triple digits all across the state.
Let's get right over to Utah's Weather Authority, Allison Krogan tonight. Allison.
Yeah, still tracking flash flood warnings right now for the Paria River drainages near Kanab and Lake Powell, right in between you right there. So Henryville, Cannonville, and Kodachrome Basin State Park. This goes until 10 o'clock. So please be really careful the next couple of days. We still have flood watches in effect for southern Utah through the 27th at midnight. So satellite and radar across southwest Utah. There's still a little bit of rain in northern Arizona. We're seeing that starting to dissipate though as it approaches the Utah border, but we might still be able to get a few more showers this evening for southwest Utah. For many in St. George, Ivins, we saw too much rainfall too quickly. We saw some ponding on the roads, some hydroplaning, even some houses flooding today. Now we have flash flood watches still in effect from Capitol Reef down through Lake Powell all the way over through Washington County for a few more days, and that flash flood warning right now for Kodachrome Basin State Park. Now for Salt Lake, 71 tonight for an overnight low, Ogden 68, Provo 65. We'll talk more about chances for flooding again tomorrow later in the hour.
Allison, thanks. Just into the Fox 13 newsroom. Check this out. 850 East, 100 South in St. George now blocked off while crews deal with this. A car fell into a sinkhole. Video from witness Chase Moyes shows what appears to be a sports car there almost completely swallowed up by the road, surrounded by storm water. Fox 13 News has reached out to police in the area. We are awaiting a call back. Don't know if there are any injuries or if anybody is in that vehicle still as it's trying to be pulled out of this big sinkhole happening in St. George right now.
A Magna family is trying to figure out what's next after their mobile home was destroyed by fire this weekend. The cause was fireworks.
Fox 13 News anchor Brian Schnee spoke to the woman who first saw the fire ignite there at their trailer and then rushed to get everyone out.
If you want to do the big fireworks, fine, but just do it in an area where you know you're going to be okay doing it.
Luanda Martinez has a different feeling about fireworks now.
I don't want them to be sold anymore. Like, I want the professionals to do it.
This after one lit her mobile home on fire late Friday night in Magna.
It started like on a pile, like right there by the window, by the trailer, and then it just ignited up into the trailer.
Inside of the trailer, her cousin and her daughter already asleep. Luanda and her husband initially tried to put out the flames.
Just how big it just got, and yeah, that's when I knew it was like really, really bad.
Luanda said her cousin just finished remodeling, but one bedroom and one bathroom is badly damaged, along with smoke damage throughout the trailer.
The whole trailer is just not, we can't even stay there, can't even live there right now.
The area lies in an unrestricted fireworks zone, but is located right along the boundary. Luanda says the trailer park did send out letters asking people not to discharge fireworks anyway. Unified Fire Authority investigators confirm the cause and suggests people continue to adhere to restrictions and use caution given the dry, windy conditions and hot temperatures.
Now, nowhere to stay until who knows when we can go back in there.
Luanda tells me that they've lost a number of items from inside of this home. If you'd like to help them out, we have a link to their GoFundMe on our website, fox13now.com. In Magna, Brian Schnee, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Personal fireworks are legal through 11 p.m. tonight in unrestricted areas. The Utah Fire Marshal's Office has a list on its website with the most recent restrictions. We can link you to that off of our website, fox13now.com. The new COVID-19 variant is increasing concern among doctors and families who have lost their loved ones to the virus.
Infectious disease experts say this strain has higher transmission rates. Fox 13 News reporter Emily Tenser spoke to the family of a former fire captain who's urging Utahns to take this pandemic seriously.
His favorite band was the Beatles.
Love the Beatles.
And then he grew up with the Monkees.
The daughters of Stephen Gunnell smile fondly as they stand on their porch and think of the good times with their dad.
We have a tradition for biscuits and gravy every Christmas morning.
He's a hero to his family and to his community, and he's touched so many lives in so many ways. The stories are something I'll treasure forever.
The girls grew up hearing about him rescuing families from fires and helping deliver babies at random locations.
He was basically my hero. He loved to help people.
He was captain for the Ogden and the Kaysville City Fire Departments. He was on multiple search and rescue teams, the hazmat team, and even administered over 1,000 COVID-19 vaccines with the Davis County Health Department.
He was a super active, healthy man with a lot of time left, and we feel very robbed to have lost him.
In June, Gunnell tested positive for COVID-19. 10 days later, he was gone.
Even I kept thinking, oh, my dad, he had COVID before. You know, he'll get better. I've had COVID. I got better. But there's just things we don't know, and there is that new strain.
Even the healthiest, active grandpas can lose their life to something so like this.
With the new variant on the rise, his daughters are asking you to take the virus seriously and remember the heroes like their dad who lost the battle against it.
He lived a life where he would do things for people just because. And I think that's what's inspiring me to be a better person, is to be more like my dad.
Reporting in Kaysville, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
New tonight, expansion of an elementary school in Summit County has stopped after officials issued a notice of violation and a stop work order. An expansion of Jeremy Ranch Elementary has been in the works for years. Last year, Summit County voters approved a $79 million bond, of which $13 million would go toward the elementary school's expansion. But the county says the district failed to get a conditional use permit, among other violations. Officials from both sides will meet this week to iron out a plan for moving forward.
Near this hour, the Zions Bank in Tremonton had to close early today after a car crashed through the front of it. Take a look here. These images show the damage. This happened just after 3:45 this afternoon. Police say a 77-year-old woman said she went in reverse to avoid another car. She hit a telephone pole and then accelerated into the bank while backing out of the pole. Police are investigating a possible medical issue that may have played a role. Damage is estimated around at least $2,500.
The house is gone. Someone broke it and lit it on fire.
A Utah family is picking up the pieces after a home invasion led to an arson attack. Hear from the father who was in the house when it happened.
The Chinese Communist Party is trying to intimidate us. They're trying to coerce us.
They can't tell us where we can and cannot travel.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are defending House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's planned visit to Taiwan. What this could mean for relations with China.
The Donovan Mitchell trade watch continues, but it may be slowing down with one team and heating up with others. I'll have the details coming up in sports.
In world news, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi could visit the island nation of Taiwan sometime next month.
The possibility of her trip now reigniting tensions with China and its claim that Taiwan is part of its territory. Fox's Madeline Rivera has a closer look from Washington.
Air raid sirens echoed through Taiwan's capital city Monday, with police directing residents to shelters as its military mobilized for air and sea exercises. The drills are done regularly, but Taipei says they're needed now more than ever.
In recent years, Chinese military planes have frequently harassed Taiwan, and the war between Russia and Ukraine broke out in February this year. All these things make us understand the importance of being vigilant in times of peace, and we need to be prepared when there is war.
The exercises come ahead of a potential visit by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, raising concerns about a possible forceful response from China. Last week, President Biden said U.S. military officials believe the trip isn't a good idea.
China is the most rapid growing military in the world today.
China has long claimed Taiwan as its sovereign territory. On Monday, a spokesperson from the country's foreign ministry doubled down on their warnings against the U.S.
China will take firm and strong measures to defend national sovereignty and territorial integrity.
However, some say not heading to Taiwan would make the U.S. appear weak and are encouraging the House Speaker to stand firm.
The Chinese Communist Party is trying to intimidate us. They're trying to coerce us.
They can't tell us where we can and cannot travel.
Speaker Pelosi has not confirmed the trip. If she goes, it will be the first visit by a House Speaker to Taiwan since 1997. In Washington, Malda Rivera, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Pope Francis started a week-long visit to Canada today with an apology to the nation's indigenous people. The pontiff humbly begged forgiveness for the evil committed by so many Christians against the indigenous people, quote unquote. He was speaking about the residential school system for indigenous people where abuse persisted for more than a century.
Me encuentro entre ustedes. I'm here because the first step of my penitential pilgrimage among you is that of again asking forgiveness, of telling you once more that I am deeply sorry for the ways in which, regrettably, many Christians supported the colonizing mentality of the powers that oppressed the indigenous peoples. I'm sorry.
The Vatican says the Pope's visit is one of penance. He says he is praying the suffering of the past can lead to a future of justice, healing, and reconciliation.
In national news tonight, President Joe Biden is downplaying economic fears. The White House now bracing for a new report that could show the economy shrank for a second consecutive quarter. Despite that and widespread inflation, the president insists the U.S. is not in a recession.
My hope is we go from this rapid growth to steady growth. And so we'll see some coming down. But I don't think we're going to, God willing, I don't think we're going to see a recession.
Well, what is a recession technically? There really is no concrete rule, but 2 consecutive quarters of America's gross domestic product shrinking is commonly referred to as a recession. The second quarter GDP numbers are expected Thursday of this week, a day after the Federal Reserve meets to discuss interest rates.
As monkeypox continues to spread, the White House is apparently looking for someone to handle the ongoing outbreak. 2 sources report the Biden administration plans to add a monkeypox coordinator to the staff. They say that person would assist in arranging the federal government's response to the outbreak. 2,900 cases of the virus have been confirmed in the U.S., including 13 here in Utah.
Airlines have canceled and delayed flights all across the country today. The disruptions are mostly due to bad weather on the East Coast. The flight tracker FlightAware reports over 1,000 flights were canceled by this afternoon, and more than 4,500 flights were delayed. FlightAware data shows LaGuardia and Newark airports in the New York metro area, as well as Reagan National near Washington, D.C., were the hardest hit. Love Field and Dallas also saw departing flights canceled after a shooting incident caused a ground stop.
CEO Elon Musk says he's worried that Tesla could go bankrupt. The company is facing billions of dollars in losses from its new plants, as well as supply chain problems and COVID lockdowns. In a recent interview with the Tesla Owners Group, Musk mentioned that automakers in general are going bankrupt. He says his concern is figuring out how to keep Tesla factories operating so they can pay people.
The White House now hosting a summit on the next generation of COVID-19 vaccines. It's taking place tomorrow. It comes as the administration turns its focus to dealing with coronavirus in the long term. The summit will include panels on next generation vaccine design and manufacturing, innovation in vaccine delivery, and advancing vaccine equity.
Switching gears now to weather, take a look at these pictures of a washed out road. That's about 5 miles south of Coral Pink Sand Dunes State Park. That's in Kane County down near Kanab. And I'll tell you what, the weather has been wreaking havoc all over the state, but most especially in the south and central parts.
Earlier today, Allison, we had some flash flood warnings. Are those still in place?
We still have a flash flood warning right now between Kanab and Lake Powell. So what we're going to be watching for you into the overnight hours will continue to be a few thunderstorms. Tomorrow, it'll be another hot day across northern Utah and southern Utah tomorrow. More chances for showers and thunderstorms. But first, let's start it off with a beautiful sky right now. This is a live look from the Natural History Museum. So beautiful. It's 89 here in Salt Lake, 90 for Ogden right now, and 84 degrees currently in Provo. Now we look in the next couple of hours here in Salt Lake City, and we'll drop into the 70s, but after midnight, very comfortable evening, very comfortable morning tomorrow, and we still have some concerns though for flash flooding. So southern Utah, you were actually a little bit cooler than northern Utah today. That's how you know something's happening, but a flash flood warning till 10 o'clock for Henryville, Cannonville, and Kodachrome Basin State Park for the Prairie River drainages into northern Arizona. So across the state, we still have a few showers south of I-70. Central Utah, we have clouds about Schofield south. And then for northern Utah, we have mostly clear sky right now. But over the next couple of days, we continue with aerial flood watches. Capitol Reef, down through the Lake Powell area and all the way over towards Washington County. This takes us through the 27th, so for a few more days. For tomorrow, our excessive rain outlook south of I-70, about south of Hanksville actually, for that better chance for our heaviest rainfall into tomorrow. Tomorrow morning in Salt Lake, near 70 when you wake up, temperatures into the 80s by 9 a.m. Overnight temps here across the state, 70s and 60s. So not bad overnight, pretty consistent temperature-wise here for the Wasatch Front the next couple of days. For us across northern Utah, it's a rinse and repeat of hot, hazy conditions. So we're near 100 again tomorrow for Salt Lake, Ogden, Tooele, Eagle Mountain, Provo. 80s for Park City, mid-90s for the Cache Valley, and then for St. George, you likely are a few degrees cooler than us here in Salt Lake City. So into this future cast tomorrow, I want to give you a better idea of what you can expect. So you'll start off with partly cloudy sky overnight. By Tuesday, 2 o'clock, we'll have some showers and thunderstorms across southern Utah. Again, mainly south of I-70. Particularly over towards Panguitch and Cedar City, we're going to see likely by dinner time tomorrow night some thunderstorms developing, and then that will take you through the rest of the evening tomorrow. Then come Wednesday night, we have that chance again for some more thunderstorms. So for St. George, your chance for rain the next couple of days. As of right now, it's looking like Wednesday is your best bet for additional showers and thunderstorms, but tomorrow widely scattered. In fact, your entire 7-day forecast has decent chances for rain in St. George, mainly isolated to widely scattered chances through next Monday. For Ogden, you're staying dry. We're going to keep the storms in southern Utah until next week. That's when we'll see some more chances for showers and thunderstorms by next Monday for Ogden. And then for Provo, you'll have some isolated showers possible Thursday, Friday, but it's really southern Utah being the main story over the next couple of days. So St. George, 95 Tuesday, 96 Wednesday, 93 Thursday. Upper 90s for this upcoming weekend. Here along the Wasatch Front, our entire 7-day forecast is right around that century mark, so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't pop up to 100 degrees at any point in the next week. And we're going to see that chance for some rain early next week. We'll talk more about that coming up in your Super 7-day forecast.
Allison, thank you. He was on a routine trip from California to Idaho, but hasn't been heard from in days. The latest on the search for a Layton man.
And a prominent U.S. Navy leader overseas sentenced to jail for a fatal auto accident. While Utah Senator Mike Lee is now getting involved in the legal battle for his freedom. Welcome back, everyone. Gas prices continue to fall over the weekend. Maybe you noticed. AAA now reporting the U.S. average is down to $4.35 a gallon.
Gas Buddy says that's the lowest average in more than 2 months. Prices are still up more than 30% compared to last year, but the National Association of Convenience Stores says people are cutting back in other ways, such as spending less at the mini-marts attached to gas stations.
Here's a look at where Utah's average gas prices stand right now tonight. Utah is still above the national average at $4.92 a gallon. Salt Lake County is right on par with that. Utah County is slightly below that, sitting at $4.88 a gallon.
There's a recall for several baked goods sold at Trader Joe's. Enjoy Life Natural Brands says some products, including cookies and granola bars, could contain hard pieces of plastic. No injuries have been reported. The products can be returned to Trader Joe's for a full refund.
What's a bad miracle? They got a word for that.
Well, Jordan Peele's film Nope won the weekend box office. The sci-fi thriller earned $44 million over the weekend, an impressive feat for a film that is not a sequel or based on pre-existing characters. Nope could be on top for a while. There are no major releases planned until Brad Pitt and Sandra Bullock's Bullet Train comes out in early August.
When I built this house 35 years ago, I built it for my kids.
Last Thursday, this home was broken into and burned down while occupants were still inside. We hear from the homeowners tonight.
It was in connection with some kind of gang relation.
3 people are dead, including 2 teenagers in what West Jordan police are calling a gang-related shooting.
Tony Finau picked up his first win this season on the PGA Tour. Now he'll tell us he's aiming for something bigger as the playoffs approach. A Centerville family is coming to grips with the tragedy, watching their home burn and trying to make sense of it all after a stranger broke into their house last Thursday.
Fox 13 News reporter Maithili Gubi spoke to the homeowners about what happened and now how they're picking up the pieces.
The hardest thing for me is that when I built this house 35 years ago, I built it for my kids. And one day it'll be back for them.
That's Clarence Newman. On July 21st, a stranger broke into his home and burned it down while he, his wife Beth, and father-in-law Mike were still in the house.
And I was sitting there watching the U.S. Open, watching Tony Finau playing in the U.S. Open, and the guy came barging through the door with a gas can, sprinkling gas around. I told him to get out of my house. What are you doing here? He says, all I want is your money or I'll burn your house down. Well, we have no money at the house. So he burned the house down.
35 years ago, Clarence built this home and is proud of the brickwork that stayed intact even with the blaze. He says it's a home filled with memories of his kids growing up.
Underneath the deck there, it was just a sand trap, and then I finally put it in cement, had the kids' finger handprints put in it.
Clarence's son Jack said his dad called his work Thursday afternoon with the news of the invasion and the fire.
He just said, Jay, the house is gone. Someone broke it and lit it on fire.
His daughter Christina Moss says the experience has been painful to deal with for their family.
I think a fire alone is like damaging enough, but then you add the events that led up to it also, and to see not only just an elderly person, but your own father and your stepmother and even step-grandfather, just the trauma from everything, but them getting, beaten and yelled at and told them they were going to get their house burned down. It's just traumatic and it's heartbreaking.
Kimberly Campbell, Clarence's other daughter, says she knows their house will come back.
If you know Clarence Newman, you know that he is a stubborn man. So I am sure he will rebuild. Hopefully not himself.
Yes.
I think he needs to hire some people this time.
The family has a GoFundMe set up for donations to help them get back on their feet. But for now, they say it's just one day at a time.
Now we're just trying to live with it.
The Centerville Police Department is the lead investigating agency on this case, and they have not yet revealed the identity of the suspect, other than the fact that he's a 37-year-old white male. In Centerville, I am Maithili Gubi, Fox 13 News, Utah.
3 people now dead, including 2 teens, in what West Jordan police say was a gang-related shooting over the weekend.
Fox 13 News reporter Chris Arnold spoke with West Jordan police today and an ex-gang member who spoke about the impact that lifestyle can have.
So I got the opportunity to get jumped into a gang, and when I got jumped into the gang, I felt like I was 10 feet tall and bulletproof.
It's like Damian Trujillo.
In West Jordan, the first charges that I picked up as an adult was for a shooting.
Started living at just the age of 13.
I picked up about 50-something charges from the age of 13 till I became an adult.
A now ex-gang member, Trujillo says the consequences of that lifestyle impact not just one person, but others as well.
There were 3 people that got killed, and then also the people that were involved with the shooting. They're also going to lose their life because of this, right? And you don't. And it was probably something that was just heat of the moment type thing.
Trujillo is talking about a shooting that took place during a house party in West Jordan near 3400 West and 6900 South, just before 11 p.m. Saturday night. West Jordan police say 3 people: 20-year-old Muhammad, 18-year-old Ayash Muhammad, and 18-year-old Faizan Ali were all shot and killed. Police say the 3 victims and the 16-year-old male suspect who was arrested all had ties to gangs.
We're not giving out the information of which gangs because we're not entirely sure yet, but we do have information saying it was gang related.
Officer Alondra Zavala says this incident isn't something that is rare for West Jordan, but she adds that gang-related incidents aren't necessarily a problem for the area, saying all the people involved in this shooting, including the victims, were from other cities.
I know our gang unit works very hard. Tons of hours daily are spent on social media working with specific gangs.
For those,
the kids are really hard to get through to.
Like Trujillo, he's hopeful other ex-gang members like himself will step up and step forward to help steer people from that kind of lifestyle.
We need people that are willing to go out there and help mentor some of these kids that are caught up in that lifestyle, and because they're thinking like this is it. Like I'm gonna live this life. I'm gonna be like Scarface or Al Capone. They don't know that they're gonna go to prison. They don't know that they're going to end up hurting people.
That 16-year-old suspect is facing a slew of charges right now, ranging from criminal homicide to obstruction of justice. Police say they're looking at several other suspects as their investigation into this continues. In West Jordan, Chris Arnold, Fox 13 News, Utah.
U.S. Navy Lieutenant Ridge Alconis now in prison in Japan after being involved in a car accident that killed 2 people. Utah Senator Mike Lee commented about the situation on the Senate floor today. Lieutenant Alconis is LDS and speaks fluent Japanese. He was convicted of negligent and drowsy driving, but he claims he suffered a medical emergency. Senator Lee shared a series of tweets defending the lieutenant, saying the medical emergency was not his fault. He also criticized the Japanese government for their handling of the situation.
He's being targeted here because he's an American and because he was in the unfortunate position of having suffered a medical emergency that resulted in tragedy. This, Madam President, is no way for a friendly nation to treat a friendly nation.
Lieutenant Alconis reported to prison today. If no action is taken to secure his release, he faces 3 years in a Japanese prison.
An intense search continues near Littlefield, Arizona for a Layton man who's been missing for several days now. Bo Riddle is a father of 6. The search is in the area around Littlefield. His family says he was on what should have been a fairly routine trip, hauling fifth-wheel trailers from California to Idaho. But extreme heat in the desert near Las Vegas may have caused his vehicle to overheat, which in turn may have triggered a mental health crisis.
I would assume, because the heat, and he could be really just, disoriented, and, if they could just call 911, so we can get him some help, that's what I'm praying for.
Layton police are monitoring the situation. If you have any information or have heard from Bo Riddle, call Layton Police, the Mojave County Sheriff's Office, or dial 911.
We make such a big deal over Pioneer Day in Utah, but what state holidays exist all around the country?
And many Utahns went outdoors today to cap off the Pioneer Day weekend. We're going to show you some of the fun at Jordanelle State Park. Glad you're with us tonight, everyone. Not every state has its own holiday commemorated as widely as Utah's Pioneer Day, but some do.
And all states have their own holidays. Going in depth tonight, Fox 13 News anchor Max Roth looks at some of them.
Most states have holidays marking whatever they consider their origin story or their most historically prominent events or citizens. One of the most conservative states in the country made January 30th a holiday. Kentucky wasn't always a Republican stronghold. They voted for Franklin Roosevelt 4 times, and January 30th is his birthday. Mardi Gras is an official state holiday in Louisiana. Of course, it's always on Tuesday, but it bounces around to always fall on the eve of Ash Wednesday and the Lenten season. On the first Monday in March, school kids in Illinois get to stay home in honor of General Casimir Pulaski. He was a Polish revolutionary in exile who fought and died in the American Revolution. On a much less reverent note, on the second weekend in March, the town of Nederland, Colorado, celebrates Frozen Dead Guy Days. There really is a frozen dead guy. His name was Bredo Morstol. His body is frozen in a crypt in a tough shed. The last Monday in March is essentially Alaska's version of Pioneer Day. Though Seward's Day is not about pioneers risking a hazardous trek, it's about the Secretary of State writing the Tsar a big check. William Seward bought Alaska from Russia for just over $7 million. On the first Tuesday after the first Monday in May, Indiana makes primary election day a legal holiday. Remember Kentucky honoring Roosevelt? Well, on May 8th, Missouri honors his successor, Harry Truman, by making his birthday a legal holiday. On June 11th, Hawaii honors King Kamehameha I, who united the Hawaiian Islands as one kingdom. And September 12th in Maryland is Defenders Day. It celebrates the defense of Baltimore from the British in the War of 1812. That's the battle commemorated in the Star-Spangled Banner. If you grew up in Utah, you probably learned all about the pioneers in 7th grade Utah history. Well, looking at state holidays is a fun way to see what other 7th grade Americans learn. In studio, Max Roth, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Still ahead, Pioneer Day celebrations continued today. We'll take you to This Is the Place Heritage Park for some of the festivities.
Coming up in sports, I'll tell you where the Weber State football team has been picked to finish in the preseason poll of the Big Sky. And Tony Finau will tell us about his plans for the rest of the season and what prize he's chasing after winning his first tournament of the season.
How about keeping the party going?
Oh, yeah, big party.
That's what's happening. Utah's Pioneer Day holiday extended into today, and it's still going strong tonight with rodeos and fireworks.
But take a look at what happened earlier today. That's the Candy Cannon raining old-fashioned taffy down on Main Street at This Is the Place Heritage Park. The park is named for the famous quote said by Brigham Young on July 24th, 1847, when he saw the Salt Lake Valley for the first time. He said, "This is the right place, drive on." Descendants of the pioneers who followed helped celebrate the day.
It means celebrating our ancestors and just kind of the adventure that they took across the plains, and it's fun to kind of pretend and be in their shoes in some ways.
Activities at the park included train and pony rides, authentic blacksmithing, and watermelon eating contests. Plus lots of do-si-dos and allemande rights and allemande lefts, as well as an old Times Square dance.
That is a street party for sure.
It sure is.
Hey, don't forget, last night, Fox 13 News aired a very special 30-minute program celebrating 175 years of pioneer spirit. If you missed it, or if you'd like to watch it again, just go to fox13now.com. We have it posted right there on our front page. We've also posted it on the Fox 13 News YouTube page. The special takes a look at the rich history of Utah's pioneers, as well as various examples of how that pioneer spirit is alive and well today. On this final day of the long holiday weekend, many are taking advantage of slightly cooler temperatures at Utah's reservoirs.
Fox 13 News reporter Spencer Joseph spoke with some of those enjoying the nice weather today by the water.
Boats and jet skis crisscross the water at Jordanelle as paddleboards and kayaks pushed out. And many kids played in the water as parents were soaking up the sun. All around a great end to the holiday weekend.
Oh, lots of fun. Yeah. We got to paddleboard and kayak. The water was refreshing. I'll pass this over to you.
This is Gabriel Carreras, packing up for the day, although I think he wishes he could have stayed longer with a relaxing day for everyone.
Yeah, I certainly was. So it was my family, so great time to be out here and not too packed. That was kind of interesting. I thought it'd be more packed.
And with the water levels a little low, they wanted to make sure to get this visit in before it drops more.
Got to take care of that for sure, because we don't want to miss out on this in the future.
And while those on two legs were having fun, it was just as fun for those with four. This is Zoe, and together with Michael, they've been playing fetch all day.
Without a doubt, her favorite game.
Despite a few throws gone astray.
Oh.
It's been fun. Whoops. For everyone.
I couldn't do that again in a million years. Just enjoying the reservoir. We got some paddle boards, we've got some children. They're out enjoying the paddle boards. We're out here relaxing, so. Oh, it's been absolutely beautiful out here.
Even if he was looking forward to paddleboarding.
But my kids took the paddle boards and haven't shown back up, so.
So they stole your paddleboards a little
Yeah, basically.
So as the weekend wraps up, there was still plenty of fun to be had for those on the water. Even if Michael didn't get his chance yet. Good girl.
But that's okay, as long as they're having fun out there.
Of course, a lot of places closed today because Pioneer Day also observed for a lot of places on Monday. So lots of people getting advantage of that out here at Jordanelle. Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.
And it was a hot Pioneer Day observed here across northern Utah. And the main story across southern Utah continues to be a few areas of showers and thunderstorms. Right now, all near the Arizona border, that's starting to die down. So what's left right now between St. George and Cedar City, mainly some light rain. And we head into the overnight hours into tomorrow morning. Let's go ahead and pause this for you Tuesday at 6 a.m. because at this point, we'll have 60s and 70s for much of the state. Cache Valley, you cool into the 50s tonight. And St. George will be near 80 degrees tomorrow morning. Then tomorrow afternoon, why don't we do it all again? We'll keep things really hot across northern Utah. We have chances for showers and thunderstorms mainly south of I-70 tomorrow, especially late afternoon into dinner time, early evening. So for tomorrow, our best chance for our heaviest rainfall will be about Hanksville south. That's where we have a slight risk of some excessive rain. We're talking 1 to 2 inches in a short amount of time. That is quite a bit of rainfall. So we'll be watching that as a potential. And we look at our rain projection over the next 7 days, and it's still monsoon weather for Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and southern Utah. Heaviest rainfall south of I-70 over the next week. And for tomorrow, that flash flooding potential is probable at all of our recreation areas, except for Arches. That's where it's possible, but probable means some slot canyons, dry washes, and small streams are expected to experience flash flooding. So for St. George, you're close to 95 the next couple of days with more chances for rain, especially on Wednesday. 96 degrees for a high on Wednesday, but for tomorrow, near 80 when you wake up. Mid-90s for a high with mostly cloudy sky and a chance for some showers and thunderstorms. For the Wasatch Front in your Super 7-day forecast, what makes us so super is that we can just go ahead and click on each day and go a little more in depth for you. So tomorrow here in Salt Lake, temps near 70 when you wake up, into the 80s for a few hours. Late morning, you're back into the 90s, highs near 100 degrees. Wednesday, partly cloudy sky, air quality for Tuesday and Wednesday orange, unhealthy for sensitive groups. We continue with that heat through Thursday at 98, 96 on Friday with partly cloudy sky. We head into this upcoming weekend and the rest of the week. Until this weekend, we have very high UV index. Northern Utah, hot temperatures continue, and southern Utah, you continue with monsoon storms. Saturday, 96 in 98 in Salt Lake, 99 on Sunday, and by next Monday, you're looking at 95 degrees with a chance for some rain. Precipitation outlook for days 8 to 14. This brings us through the 2nd of August to 8th of August, but a little bit more precipitation than usual for that first week of August. And for that same time frame with temperatures, we'll keep things hot across the north and a little bit cooler across southwest Utah. But stay cool tomorrow. Temperatures near 100 degrees.
Well, the Donovan Mitchell trade watch continues, and it appears like the Jazz are not in a hurry to make a trade as they want the right deal to come along for the three-time NBA All-Star. The Athletic reported that trade talks with the New York Knicks have moved slowly and the sides are far from an agreement. Mitchell has not requested a trade, but according to a source, he would prefer to play for a contender. The Jazz go into a full rebuild. Other teams have expressed interest to trade for Mitchell, including Washington, Miami, Toronto, Charlotte, Sacramento, and Atlanta. But the Jazz have held firm on setting the bar high for a potential deal for the 25-year-old with 3 years guaranteed remaining on his contract. The Weber State football team has been picked to finish 4th in the Big Sky preseason polls. The Wildcats were just 6-5 last season. That's well below their expectations after winning 4 straight Big Sky titles and competing in the playoffs. But they're ready for a fresh start with the season opener against Western Oregon in just 38 days.
There's nothing like the fall in college football. It's what we live for. It's what we work all year for those 12 weekends in the fall. And so it's always exciting to get back and started. Preseason rankings mean nothing. The only thing that matters is who plays good on Saturdays and who can stay healthy, who can make the big plays when it's most needed. And yeah, we don't ever buy too much into the preseason rankings.
Well, Tony Finau won his 3rd career PGA Tour title and his first this season at the 3M Open in Minnesota yesterday. After a 67 to overcome a 5-shot deficit in the final round. This season got off to a slow start for Finau, but he says his game is as good as it's ever been right now. He's 17th in the FedEx Cup standings with just 2 tournaments to play before the start of the playoffs. He'll play this week in Detroit, then take next week off before making a run to win the FedEx Cup in the 3 playoff events of the season.
It's nice to have jumped from, I think I was entering the week at 30th in the FedEx Cup to now 17th. That's winning takes care of everything. Those guys at the top of that FedEx Cup are going to be extremely hard to pass. But the great thing about the playoffs is they're triple points. So those tournaments mean a lot in the grand scheme of the FedEx Cup playoffs. And now I put myself in a situation where I win some of those tournaments coming home and I'm going to have a chance at East Lake. So this was extremely important on that journey to try and win a FedEx Cup.
That's a good time to play your best. We'll be right back.
Well, guess what? Klondike is officially bidding farewell to the Choco Taco.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah, right? Breaks your heart to hear this, but they're made with vanilla ice cream in a taco-shaped waffle cone topped with chocolate and peanuts. Been a fan favorite for almost 4 decades. Companies stopped producing them because of a spike in demand for its other products.
There. Well,
can't imagine.
At least we still have the original Klondike.
Yeah.
Quick Cast is next.